Another Thunder win, Brew. Ant bounced back at 32, but the MVP had 38. 13 from the free throw line, if that's something you're interested in. The Thunder outscored the Wolves by 14 in the third to shut the door on Minnesota. Historically, Brew, this is not good. Going down 0-2 in a best-of-7 series, only 8%, less than 8% of teams come back to win. The conference finals a little bit better, 12%. So the question is this series over?
Wilds, I hate to say it, my T-Wolves might go down faster than one of these Indy cars that's been zooming by us all morning. It doesn't look good. And look, I'm holding out hope. I'm not completely writing them off.
You should.
Not just because they're down 2-0, though. Here's why, Nick. They just look like the lesser team.
Yes.
It's not, a lot of times you might just say it because they're down 2-0, but they have been outclassed, to be honest. And watching these two games, OKC looks better defensively. They look better in transition. And their superstar, the MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, just looks better than Minnesota superstar Anthony Edwards, and he is better. And so even through these first two games, except for the first few minutes of game one when Minnesota jumped out to the big lead, even when it's close, tie game, within 3 or 4 points, it still looks like OKC is in control.
Yes.
And one of the things is their star, Shai, feels like he can get a bucket or a point on any possession.
Right.
He's either can draw a foul, even if he's missed a few shots, he can get in that mid-range, and you feel like he's going to hit it. Mike Conley, Minnesota's point guard, said something. He had a quote after the game. He said, this isn't your typical series where it's like, hey, give them the mid-range shot because they can hit that shot. As you say, Wilds, the mid-range, it's always there. And Shai is excellent at it. So it's kind of a commentary on today's NBA where if teams want to give up a shot, they don't give you anything. But if they do give you something, it's going to be the mid-range. And this team's killer, Shai, is a great mid-range shooter.
Yeah.
So that's a big story. But, look, I'm holding out hope that they got to get two. They got to get both in Minnesota.
I don't know if you should be holding out hope. I don't think they can beat this team. And not that they're going to get swept, but I'll tell you this much, and I bet you probably deep down agree. A sweep is way more likely than a Timberwolves comeback. If you were to tell me it's going to be
far yet.
Man,
because we've seen series like this, the series doesn't start until somebody loses on their home court.
I understand that, and I preach that as well. It doesn't feel like though they are good enough. And listen, I want to give Shai and Oklahoma City credit because a corollary of the numbers don't fully tell the story on the Shai foul baiting stuff is a game where he had 15 free throws. I didn't look at it as a game that he was doing the unethical flopping stuff. I thought in the first 3 quarters, particularly last night, I thought Shai played as, for lack of a better term, honorably as a player can. I didn't think he was doing the stuff he was doing as much in game one. In the fourth quarter, he couldn't help himself a bit, but they had game one anyway. He was extraordinary. The problem for Minnesota is, Ant was good last night. Ant had no turnovers. Ant had 30-plus.
But he did need, 28 shots to get his 30?
I still thought he was
much better
he wasn't the
than
problem.
game one. Yeah.
But they're yet to have a game where multiple of their big 3 or 4 players play well. Julius was a no-show last night.
That was the problem.
And listen, I also think, and you heard it from Jaden McDaniels after the game, as we have choppers right over the stadium. It looks pretty sick. You heard it after the game from Jaden.
That is dope.
And you saw it in his frustration. I thought Minnesota let the game one whistle get in their head a bit.
Well, Jaden sounds like it for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
And that Jaden feels like he doesn't know how to guard Shai. Now, part of that is because of Shai. Most of that is because of Shai's brilliance. But it really does seem like it's a problem.
Shai ate him up during the regular season, too.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, I mean, I think he's been unbelievable.
And he's one of the best defenders in the league, Jaden.
We're in Indianapolis, and...
Oh, my.
Oh. This shot is still resonating.
This dude.
Pacers looking to grab another win in New York after one of the best comebacks of all time. The Knicks are favored by 6. Is this a must-win for New York?
Look, obviously I picked my hometown team, the Pacers, to win this series. I feel very confident about them doing that, especially just with the irony of me being here in Indy for the 500. But I will never count the Knicks out until they're down 3-0. I think they've earned that. They're one of the mentally toughest teams in the league. We've seen them in these last 2 series overcome various things. I mean, in the midst of game, 2 20-point deficits with the Celtics. And so I don't think if they're down 2-0 and lose this game tonight, I won't say they have no chance. That said, yeah, they better win this game.
Yeah.
And I think what's interesting, Nick, I want to see the tempo they play at. Because they played at a fast tempo in game 1. It was the highest scoring conference finals combined ever. All right, and they played at that pace and had a big lead and probably could be feeling like, hey, we can beat the Pacers at their game. But I think over the course of a 48-minute game, maybe overtime, and certainly over the course of a 7-game series, the Knicks playing at that pace will hurt them. So I want to see, do they try to dictate a slower pace, or do they go ahead and run with the Pacers?
So I think that's a good point. I do think it's a must-win, and I think the Knicks will win. The Pacers have gone up 1-0 in every series, and they have and then they have answered by going up 2-0 in every series. The Pacers are right now in these playoffs 9-2. Both those losses came in game 3s when they were up 2-0, and the other team was de facto facing elimination. Where I think the Knicks should feel good is they were better than the Pacers for the first 3 quarters. They then dominated the Pacers for the first 9 minutes of the 4th quarter. And through 45 minutes, they took what I thought was the Pacers' best shot. And the Pacers had no answer for Jalen Brunson, no answer for Karl Anthony Towns. Then obviously they folded down the stretch. Jalen Brunson, the last couple years off a playoff loss, not only have the Knicks been great, he's been particularly great. So I think he's going to be excellent. I think they are going to come to Indianapolis with this series tied 1 game apiece.
Okay. I think Pacers win.
You do?
Tonight?
I do.
Wow. So you're basically, well, you didn't make a pick. You didn't pick the
Well, yeah, I needed to see it. But I was right. But going into the 4th quarter, I felt good about it. Indianapolis.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.